Hey everyone, this is my presentation on contrastive analysis of Spanish and English. I'm focusing on phonology and morphology. Today I'm comparing Spanish and English through the lens of contrastive analysis. I'm focusing on the aspects syllable structure and phonology and verb morphology. I'll also predict challenges that Spanish speakers may face when learning English and suggest strategies that teachers can use to address these challenges. Okay, let's get into it. The first slide is what is contrastive analysis? Contrastive analysis systematically compares two languages to identify similarities and differences. It helps teachers predict where learners may face challenges when learning a second language. So, contrastive analysis is the study of two languages to understand their differences might affect second language acquisition. By comparing Spanish and English, we can better understand the specific pronunciation and grammar issues Spanish learners often encounter. Phonology, syllable structure. In the English language, we have many closed syllables and consonant clusters, such as the word street or the word plan. Well, in Spanish, they prefer open syllables, typically ending in a vowel. Because of this, Spanish speakers often insert a vowel before a cluster. So school might sound more like school because of that vowel that they put at the beginning of the word. So, for example, here we have English where we allow open syllables, and we have our CVC words, and whereas Spanish prefers open syllables. These are some common clusters, the words straight and spring. And it's especially at the beginning of words. Oops. Sorry, I skipped a slide. Okay. These are some phonology predicted difficulties. Adding vowels before initial clusters, example school for school. Omitting final consonants, ol for old, so just getting rid of that D sound at the end, or duh sound. And then difficulty distinguishing short and long vowel sounds. So they might be trying to say ship, but instead it'll sound like sheep. So, due to these structural differences, Spanish learners might add vowels, whereas English learners have consonant clusters, or they might drop the final consonants entirely. They may also struggle to distinguish English vowel length contrast, which don't exist in Spanish. Morphology, verb tense, and agreement. In morphology, Spanish verbs carry much more information than English verbs. The verb ending shows tense and subject, so pronouns are often unnecessary. In contrast, English depends heavily on auxiliary verbs and word order. So, in English, we have some endings like ing or ed, which are our auxiliary words. They're pretty much always required, and that's just not a thing in Spanish. So it can be a bit confusing when it comes to learning a different language. These are some morphology predicted difficulties. We have omitting auxiliary verbs, so it says he going instead of he is going. Overusing subject pronouns. I speak, I Spanish. so overusing that I, and then confusion with irregular English past tense verbs, gold for went. These differences can cause Spanish learners to omit auxiliary verbs or overuse pronouns because they are not needed in Spanish. Irregular English verbs can also be challenging because Spanish tense rules are more consistent. Let's move on to some teaching strategies. I'll read them off first. For phonology, I have used minimal pairs to train vowel contrast and practice cluster pronunciation through repetition and modeling. Use visual mouth diagrams to show articulation. And then, whereas the morphology side, I have provide sentence framing for emphasizing auxiliaries, create verb charts, comparing English and Spanish forms, and use context-rich dialogues to reinforce correct verb use. So, to address these challenges, we can do all of those things, plus teaching in context helps learners apply new forms more naturally. In conclusion, analyzing Spanish and English through contrastive analysis helps us see why certain pronunciation and grammar errors occur. By anticipating these issues, teachers can create lessons that target students' specific needs. I think that is everything, and slide 9 is just my references. Thank you for listening.